It's the end of the world as we know it. Zombie apocalypse. Hey everybody, this is Michael with Asymmetrical Preparedness. This video is about getting other people into prepping. And that, what I just started off with, is not the way to do it. We are in the perfect time right now to get people on board with prepping. After 2020 and all we went through, if we can't get people into prepping now, at least to some little extent, then we have failed. Some people are unreachable. I get it. But man, with everything that happened, lockdowns, Charlie 19, all the stuff that happened. We went through some tough times. There was some crazy stuff that went on. All the civil disturbances, to put it gently. All the bad stuff that went on. People couldn't help but see it. I don't know, maybe to some extent, they didn't see it as much as others did, depending on what they watch, or their lack of awareness and keeping their head on a swivel and searching out other sources of information. Sure, maybe they are still a little asleep, but I'll tell you what, right now, I guarantee that more people are awake to the possibility than there have been in a long time. So how do we approach encouraging them, kind of getting them into preparedness without them knowing it? Don't use the term prepper. Don't talk about SHTF, stuff hitting the fan. Don't talk about without rule of law, Teotihuacan, the end of the world as we know it, zombie apocalypse, collapse, Yellowstone supervolcano, all these kind of things. Civil war. Don't talk about things like that. Don't talk about conspiracy theory or some things that people deem as conspiracy theory. Talk about rational, realistic things that can apply to anyone. Hey, because of, recent events, lockdowns, lessening our ability to maybe shop as often, and affecting our way of life, our ability to get food, toilet paper. That was a big one. That was crazy. I think it's crazy. The run on toilet paper. Whatever. There's more important things than toilet paper, people. But anyway, to encourage somebody, say, hey, man, that stuff, I'm glad 2020's over. You can approach it like that. I'm glad 2020's over. Man, there was some crazy stuff that went on. Remember that time when, went to the store and we couldn't get toilet paper? Yeah, so, now I've bought a little extra. So we have a little extra on hand in case that happens again. Or remember when it evolved to there was less food on the shelves. Some areas of grocery store shelves were wiped clean. Approach it that direction. So those kind of items, I bought a little extra. I thought it would be a good thing to do. Have a little extra on hand just in case. Because we've seen what can happen. And, you don't even have to approach the fact that it could get worse. Don't scare them off. Say, hey, it wouldn't hurt to have a little extra food. Have you thought about that? I was just thinking about the other day, my wife and I were talking about, getting, some extra cans of soup, some extra cans of vegetables, some cans of beans, maybe some refried beans, maybe some extra potatoes and onions, those kind of things, some mac and cheese boxes, keep it simple. And also, don't overwhelm them, don't scare them off. Also, because of this, the whole gardening aspect. They may not have the ability to raise their own animals for food production, and that may be pushing the limits a little bit, but you might be able to go there with some people. Hey, you got a nice, you have a really nice backyard, you got a little extra land here or property. It's really cool, I have my own chickens, or I've been thinking about getting my own chickens, for fresh eggs. Because, man, I'll tell you what, they taste so good. Have you ever tasted a fresh egg from a farm egg, not store-bought? They're really good. And even if they're not ready to slaughter their own chickens or slaughter their own meat for for eating, maybe eggs is an easy way to start. Fresh eggs all the time. Chickens are pretty simple to take care of. They're not too difficult. Hey, maybe if you're interested, I can come over and help you set it up, show you how to do it. Same with gardening. Hey, you got some room here, room there, whatever. Or if you don't have room, you can do this to grow some fresh fruits and vegetables. Hey, I know you have kids. It's really fun. My kids love gardening. Or your spouse, or maybe you're single, the person's single, and you can approach it like, instead of going home and being bored every night, grow some vegetables, watch them grow, get your hands touch the dirt. It really helped me to be at peace. It helped me de-stress from the hard day of work. You can approach it like that. There's a lot of different ways you can approach this idea. And also, maybe, talk about, you remember the less food in the shelves? I noticed one thing, because I grow my own, I have a vegetable garden. I noticed that pretty soon it evolved into seeds. I couldn't find any more seeds, so I couldn't grow as much last year. So I bought some extra seeds. That may also get them into the mindset of, oh wow, yeah, that's right. I noticed that, or maybe I didn't notice that, but I'll believe what you say. Because seeds were a shortage, because the people were thinking about growing their own food, because the grocery stores didn't have as much on the shelves. And so they're open, their minds may be open to the possibility that we're not infallible, that the United States isn't perfect, that it can happen to us. Don't go there too much though. Just utilize the things that they've seen, or specific instances where they were affected negatively by it. Even if it's a tiny little amount, or to the extreme. If they were affected extremely, well, it may be even easier to get them into growing their own food, just in case, so they can always feed their family. Feeding their family, maybe encourage them, talk about how awesome it would be to have fresh oranges or fresh apples in your tree, and how much fun it is to go outside and pick them. When you want a snack, just walk out of your yard and pick an apple or pick an orange. The kids love it. If they got kids, that approach always. If they have kids, try to utilize them in the approach. I think that's a very effective method, because everybody, if they have kids, they at least care about them to some extent, hopefully. Hopefully they love them more than anything. And so encouraging that aspect, to teach their kids and to learn and grow with their kids, and to grow things, to have that fun experience one-on-one of, building a raised bed, or, getting a container, putting some topsoil in it, planting the seeds, watching them grow, and then being able to eat and consume your wonderful harvest. Your bountiful harvest is so much fun, and it's so yummy, and it's so good, and it's so good for you. If they're a health nut, you can approach it that aspect. If they're unhealthy, you can approach that aspect of, bringing more healthy stuff into their life. Depends on the person, really, a lot. But don't approach it. Don't get too heavy with them. Don't approach it like, zombie apocalypse. We all got to get our guns and our stuff and fight zombies coming, or something like that. Whatever those shows are, the Z and the zombie movies and zombie shows and stuff like that. Or like, Jericho type stuff. Don't go there with them. Don't go big picture. Don't scare them off. Start small, start simple, and start with common sense. Common sense, I realize, is maybe not as common anymore as it used to be. Maybe we should just call it sense. But approach it from a sensible mindset. Taking care of their families, providing for their families, just in case of emergency type things that we've seen lately. Why not have a little extra? Same with like flashlights, batteries, maybe. Whatever may apply to them. You will know that person better than I can just try to sit here and war game and ramble on and on and on about every single possibility under the sun. Everybody's situation is different. Your situation is different. Their situation is different. Use your intelligence. Use your brain. Try to talk to as many people as you can. Friends, start with friends, family, coworkers, people at church, stuff like that, neighbors. And then, maybe even start up a conversation with somebody in the store. You can randomly say, oh, hey, honey, I'm going to grab a couple of extra cans of this, just in case, because remember last year when the grocery store didn't have these things? And maybe that seed you plant right there from the random stranger standing next to you will waken them up a little bit. You never know where the seeds you plant, where they'll take root and what they'll grow into. It's all about setting an example, setting a positive example, setting a good example, and getting through to others. It's very important. The more people we can get through to, the more assets we have out there versus liabilities. The more people that won't be a threat to us as much as they would if they were not prepared at least a little bit. So encourage others. Don't overwhelm them. Common sense. Approach it from an aspect of love, caring, not from fear. Just like I talk about on this channel, we're not about fear porn here. About common sense, prepping, thinking outside the box, stuff from basics all the way up to advanced stuff. A lot of times it's good to just go over the basics, especially with somebody like you got to start very, very, very basic, very gentle with them. But if you do this and you try this, which I encourage you to do so, you may be surprised. You may be able to change somebody's life that may end up eventually having a positive aspect or positive outcome for your life. That's important. That's what I'm talking about. Anyway, thank you guys for your support here. I love you guys. We're still putting out content. If you don't see videos from me on a regular basis, please just go to the Asymmetrical Preparedness page, go to the videos, and see them. If they're not posting them up, if we're not making them visible, I'm still here. I'm still putting out content. I'm not going to quit. I will be here unless they yank me, which I'm trying to move all the good stuff that they don't want, they don't want to talk about here over to Patreon. So if you want to check that out, check it out. It's $1 a month. $5 a month gets you into the monthly giveaway. We're going to have some awesome giveaways. It's going to be worth way more than $5. The giveaway will be worth months and months and months, if not a year or more, of your subscription. So it'll be well worth it. And not having too many patrons, it won't be like you're competing against thousands of people. You'll actually have a real viable chance to win. So I encourage you to do so. Also check out the Amazon storefront, link in the description, all the things. I love you guys. Prep a little every day. And blessings to you and yours.